Welcome to Furious Toys. Thank you for joining me for this review of the Cygor Deluxe figure from Spawn Comics by McFarlane Toys. Can't rightly say I know much about this figure, I just enjoy the way he looks. Here on the front you can see Cygor through this massive window along with the Spawn logo and the character name at the bottom. On the left there is the McFarlane Toys logo, the Spawn logo, and some photography of Cygor. On the right is the comic book illustration of Cygor. Through the top window you can see the top of his chrome dome. On the bottom you get the standard legal disclaimers, the part number, the character name, and the barcode. On the back we get the Spawn logo, the number of points of articulation, the McFarlane socials, and the character name, as well as a picture of the character himself. Time to release this gorilla from captivity back into the wild. Because of his cybernetic armor, he can only look left and right so far. Same for looking backwards, but he can look down a decent amount. I wonder if this armor snaps off. Not easily, so I'm not going to force it. Look at the sculpt detail on the hair and those cuts, as well as the paint detail on the armor and his gums and teeth and that tongue. Also those staples that are just holding his flesh together. All these wires and servos. His arms don't seem to come out too far. That doesn't look like it's stopping it. Whoops. Hope that goes back in. You can see that little ball socket in there. It should pop right back in. This is going to take some force. There is no bicep cut, so it's just got the shoulder rotation. Got to move that pauldron out of the way to get the full 360, but it will go. His elbow single jointed, doesn't quite bend a full 90. The wrist joint does fold palm in about that far and palm out just that much. There is no movement to the fingers. The left elbow barely bends at all. I don't think it's this wire that's keeping it from bending. Let's see if we can fold it over this, and I don't want to break it. Even when I rotate it a little bit, it takes the pressure off the wire, but it still doesn't bend any further. It's a limitation in the elbow itself to keep from breaking those wires. Let's look at this waist ball joint articulation. It's got quite a bit of movement there. What's he going to do with all that junk inside that trunk? At the hip joint, it folds out pretty well. He can almost do the full splits. Where the thigh connects to the hip, there is rotation, so it'll rotate out that far and rotate in that far. There is a double joint to the knee, but it still doesn't allow for much movement. Considering the size and bulk of it, it still moves pretty well. His ankle allows for very little movement, and I don't know if there's a forward-facing pin for any kind of rocker articulation. All this movement made his bottom fall off like a furry diaper. And getting the ruler back here, we see that he stands at 10 3/4 inches. Our comparisons are going to be other simian and oversized creatures. Starting with Zimnu, the space hominid. Next up we have the Gorilla Grodd Collect and Connect figure from the DC Universe Classics by Mattel. Next up we have the Image Comics Monkey Man from the Legendary Comic Book Heroes line by Toy Biz. Gorilla Grodd gives way to the movie King Kong by NECA. He is rocking the same exact expression as Cygor. Here is the Image Comics Pit, the second Build-A-Figure from the legendary comic book Heroes line by Toy Biz. Trading Kong out, we have the Ultra Humanite, another DC Universe Classics Collect and Connect figure by Mattel. Last but not least, well, maybe the least amount of plastic, we have the Marvel Legends Hitmonkey Build-A-Figure. I passed by the first version of this figure McFarlane put out that was basically a statue. I kept holding out hope that it would be made into a higher articulated figure, and boy did he deliver. I kept seeing a cybernetic cobra as well. I hope we get that one too. This guy is rocking quite the badonkadonk. He's got it going on like Donkey Kong. I do not have many Spawn related characters. I have an older Violator that came with a death motorcycle, and the Violator itself was bendy. I have one of the newer Spawn figures that was released as part of the Mortal Kombat line. It's not that I don't want the figures, it's just that I have to draw the line somewhere in this crazy collection. Well, there it is. This has been my review of the Cygor Deluxe figure from Spawn Comics by McFarlane Toys. I do appreciate your time if you stuck with me this far. If you like what you have seen, please punch that thumbs up icon in the face. If you didn't care for it, please let me know how I may improve future videos. Thank you for joining me here at Furious Toys.